Welcome back to another explainer from the Foundry by Forge College. Now, if you were hanging out with us for our last lesson, you know we covered an overview of decentralized identity frameworks. And look, securing identities on Solana is absolutely fantastic, but it naturally brings up a pretty massive operational question. How do we actually interact with those systems reliably without, completely losing our minds? So today, we're going to bridge our previous work on those identity frameworks directly into building robust, standardized tools to interact with those exact systems on Solana. We're jumping right into the foundations of CLI tool creation. This is a super critical piece of our broader track on Web2 integration and API development on Solana. Get ready, because we're about to turn your isolated code into an incredibly well-oiled, team-ready machine.
All right, here is our engineering schematic layout for today. We're covering 6 key sections. 1. From identity to interfaces. 2. Anatomy of a CLI. 3. The node scaffold blueprint. 4. Humans versus machines. 5. Automating with CI pipelines. And 6. Preparing for mass distribution. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. From identity to interfaces. Bridging the gap.
Okay, so picture this. You've just built these incredible custom model context protocols, or MCPs, for your AI-driven tools on Solana. Huge win. But without a standardized interface, you're practically begging to fall victim to the classic, universally dreaded works on my machine syndrome. We've all been there, right? You really want to avoid your entire team pulling their hair out trying to replicate your local setup. So think of a CLI, a command line interface, as basically a universal remote control for your codebase. It takes all that testing, validation, and observability logic you built for your MCPs and packages it all up into simple, reusable, repeatable commands. It is literally the absolute key to developer velocity.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a CLI, the core components. To build this universal remote, we've got to peek under the hood at the core building blocks. These 5 components act as the raw materials, the logic gears, if you will, that make a CLI both maintainable and scalable. We've got command parsing to actually figure out what the user wants. We've got configuration contracts, so the tool knows exactly where to look for settings. We have logs perfectly designed for both humans and machines, exit codes for incredibly clear success or failure states, and testing hooks. When you put them all together, these form an airtight, explicit contract between your custom MCP and the services calling it, and that ensures complete idempotency. Which, let's be real, is just a fancy engineering term that means no surprises. You get the exact same predictable result every single time you press the button. Section 3, the node scaffold blueprint, drafting the structure.
So when you're drafting the actual structural scaffold using Node.js, a package like Commander is going to be your absolute best friend for handling subcommands and spitting out those automatic help menus. Just look at a command like this: mcpctl validate -config /mcp config JSON -output JSON. By declaring a specific validate subcommand, paired with short and long flags for both our configuration and our output format, we instantly make the tool super friendly for interactive, everyday use. It creates a highly standardized development lifecycle, which is exactly the kind of best practice we drill down on across our Forge College courses. It's clean, it's explicit, and honestly, it leaves zero guesswork for the developers sitting at the keyboard.
And that brings us to this crucial philosophy right here. Treat the CLI as an API for humans and machines. You see, you aren't just hacking together a quick script to make your own life easier for the afternoon. You are actively designing a stable API boundary. And that means the shape of your output? Yeah, it's just as important as the massively complex logic happening inside the tool. Because think about it. If your tool randomly changes its output format every other week, your team's automated systems are going to completely break every other week.
And that perfectly tees up Section 4, Humans versus Machines, resolving the conflict.
We're stepping onto a classic battleground in software engineering here, the separation of concerns between, humans and machines. Let's be totally honest with ourselves. Humans need a little bit of handholding. We love context. We love readable text, beautiful little progress bars, timestamps, and correlation IDs so we can casually trace what went wrong while we sip our morning coffee. Machines, on the other hand, absolutely zero empathy. They do not care about your cute progress bar. Machines parsing your tool need strict, predictable, structured JSON with precise, explicit schemas. If you try to feed friendly human text into a machine pipeline, it is going to choke and result in chaotic, flaky errors. Your CLI has to be able to serve both of these masters seamlessly, which we usually pull off via a simple -output flag.
Section 5,
Automating with CI pipelines, the factory assembly line.
Okay, once our universal remote is built and speaking the right languages to the right users, we plug it straight into our continuous integration factory. But here's a question. How does the factory actually know if the tool worked? Well, exit codes. Exit codes act exactly like traffic lights for your automated pipelines. A green 0, success, everything's good, keep cruising down the line. A red 1 means a totally unexpected runtime error, like a server straight up crashed, so we abort immediately. But check out that orange code 2. That means a domain-level validation failure. The tool itself ran perfectly fine, but the MCP failed its specific validation check. By implementing these distinct exit codes, your CI scripts can actually react intelligently, rather than just blindly failing and forcing you to dig through endless logs. Let's look at how this builds into a highly dependable gatekeeper for those AI-driven tools. It's a simple, elegant 4-step pipeline. First, check out the repository. Second, install the runtime. Third, fire off your MCPTL validate command, specifically asking for that machine-friendly JSON output. Fourth, check the exit code. Boom. By passing strict JSON and listening for explicit exit codes, this automated gatekeeper totally removes human error from the equation. It actively stops broken code from ever reaching your Solana environments.
Almost at the finish line. Section 6, preparing for mass distribution, the final polish.
Before you go unleashing this beautifully engineered CLI to the rest of your team or out to the open source wild, you need to gut check against these 3 core architectural principles. Number 1, design for determinism. Impotent commands and highly stable configurations are going to drastically reduce pipeline flakiness. Number 2, separate your concerns. Keep your pretty logging for the humans and your strict JSON outputs for the machines completely distinct. And number 3, always make automation-first decisions. Explicit exit codes and environment-friendly configurations mean your CLI is a bulletproof integration point for literally everyone. Follow these 3 rules, and your tool won't just function. It's going to be an absolute joy for other developers to build with. All right, to wrap things up, I want to leave you with this somewhat provocative question right here. How will packaging choices determine the adoption velocity of your new CLI tool? Because honestly, it doesn't matter how brilliant your CLI architecture is if it's a total nightmare for your team to actually install it. We're going to tackle exactly how to package and distribute this blueprint in our next lesson, Packaging and Distribution Workflows. Until then, thank you so much for learning with us, and be sure to swing by forge.college to explore more deep dives into Web3, Solana, and AI-powered workflows. See you next time.